Hello, my name is Ben Miller and I'm a physical therapist here at Total Physical Therapy in Amarillo. And today we're going to continue our series looking at how we can start to running program as beginner runners. Today's discussion we're going to look more at how to start the habit of running and how we can set things up in our day to be able to encourage us to go run so that way we don't get discouraged and fall away from the sport of running. Typically the first 3 months are the hardest whenever we start a running program. It's important for us as runners whenever we start to run to do a couple things to set ourselves up for success. The first thing is try to make it a habit. If we can make running a habit, then it becomes part of our daily routine and it's not as hard to get up in the morning or to go out during lunch or to go after work and go for a jog. A lot of times people, they're very sporadic with their running. They run maybe once every week or 2 times a week, and honestly, if you are only running that amount, which is fine for some people when they start, but if you're only running that amount, it's hard to really make it a habit of what you're trying to do or accomplish. The next thing is whenever people start running programs, they start feeling a little sore in some places. My hamstrings are maybe a little tight, or when I'm running, I feel maybe my calves are getting a little sore as I'm running, and so a lot of people try to shy away from these little minor aches and pains, and that discourages them from running. But whenever you do any type of exercise, whether it's lifting weights or going out for running, you can expect some minor aches and sorenesses, especially as you start a new program. So whenever you're starting something, expect it, and if you're mentally ready to expect these things to happen, then you'll be more willing to accept them and continue and push through. There's also a learning process of running. Running is also a skill. It's not something that everybody just innately knows how to run and to run well. If any of you, it's pretty similar to any skill that you learn. If anybody has ever learned how to juggle before, you know that you can't just pick up 3 balls and start juggling them right away. We need to be able to develop the skill and be able to work on it over time. So whenever you first go run, it may feel awkward, or it may not feel like you're running very smoothly or that everything's clicking. And if that's you, the majority of the people who start running programs feel this way. And so whenever we start running programs, we really encourage people to try to continue to run for at least 3 to 6 months to try to develop the skill of running. And you'll find as you get better at running, it becomes much more enjoyable. Another point, it's got to be fun. Now, whenever we start running programs, I understand that it's not necessarily the most fun thing in the world because it feels awkward, you're having some aches and sorenesses. For some people, you may feel a little tired after you run. All of these different things can kind of deter people from starting any kind of exercise program, but even running as well. So just understand that a lot of people who enjoy running now probably didn't enjoy running for the first 3 months. I'm a perfect example of this. When I was in high school, I hated to run, and the coaches wanted me to go run cross country, and I played basketball at the time. And I remember thinking to myself, why would I want to go run long distances if, in basketball, when something bad happened, I would be punished by running. And so it just didn't make sense to me at the time. But as I grew older and as I got through college and started graduating college, I started running with my wife. My wife was a runner. And we went out on runs for, anywhere from 6 to 10 miles. And we were going really slow. And I enjoyed those times with my wife because I was able to relax and get to know her and talk with her. And over a period of a few months, I started realizing that I really enjoyed to run. And so just know that for some people, you may not find it enjoyable at the beginning, but if you could kind of get through those first 3 to 6 months and you are doing the things that you need to, you may find that you actually start to enjoy it. It becomes more enjoyable. Some other things to set yourself up for success are to set goals. And so you can set short-term goals or long-term goals. Long-term goals can be in the form of a race. A lot of people, when they start running programs, will say, I want to run a 5K maybe in 10 or 12 weeks and see how that goes. And sometimes that's enough incentive for somebody to get out the door a couple times a week to be able to go run and train for something like a race. You could even break it down to short-term goals, say This week I ran 5 miles. I went out twice and ran 2.5 miles. Next week I want to see if I can maybe go 7 miles, and so I'll add another run of a 2-mile run next week and slowly build up. And I'll make another video on how to appropriately build up a running program, but this is just kind of getting an idea of, if you can set goals and you have these things for you, then you can go back and look whenever times are maybe you're feeling tired and your legs are a little sore. You can look at these goals that you set for yourself and realize, hey, I want to meet these, and so it will encourage you to go out the door and continue to run. Some other things that you can do throughout the days in order to help it become a habit is setting aside time for exercise. And so most beginners can easily set aside anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Now, you're not necessarily exercising during that whole span of time, but you need to leave yourself some time for things like getting dressed, getting ready in the morning to go out the door, taking a shower after you exercise and getting dressed to go for the day. Or if you're doing it during lunch, same thing, leaving that same amount of time to be able to exercise and shower and eat and all of those things. And if you can set aside a specific amount of time saying, I'm allotting this time to run, typically it helps people be able to move that direction. Another great habit that you can develop, or another great tidbit that I would recommend, is finding a running group that you can go run with. Running, a lot of runners will go out the door and just, hit the roads by themselves and go run, and for a lot of really introverted people that works really well, but not all of us are really introverted people. We enjoy socializing, and running can be a great social activity, especially for beginner runners. I definitely recommend as a beginner runner that you do most of your running or exercising where you can talk, where you can be able to have a conversation with somebody as you're jogging. And so as you're running around in a group, pretty slowly, you're able to have a conversation with somebody, get to know them, share stories, things like that. And typically, if you're meeting a group to go run, you are much more likely to go out the door and go on your run with a group than you are by yourself. Now, if you're looking for a community of runners to be able to run here in Amarillo, here at Total Physical Therapy, we have a running class on Tuesday nights that starts at 6 o'clock called TPT Trotters. And we don't do any running during this class, but we do other things like strength exercises, balance activities, running drills, all sorts of different other things to try to make ourselves stronger runners to be able to prevent injuries and things like that. So if you're looking for something like that, be sure to check us out. It's every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock unless otherwise stated, but most of the times we're out here working out and having a good time. Another thing that you can do to help yourself get ready, and these are things that I typically do, is every night before I go to bed, I lay out the clothes that I'm going to be running in the morning, so that way when I wake up and I'm in a fog, I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear. I already know that I'm just going to grab my things and put it on, and I can just slip out the door and start running. Another thing that I do, sometimes I'll actually sleep in something like my running shorts, so that way it helps me save time in the morning to be able to get out the door. Another way to be able to hold yourself accountable to continue running is to hire a coach. There are a lot of running coaches in the area online, as well as some places here locally that would love to give you some services on, if you're looking for plans to run for races, they can help set that up for you. And I would definitely recommend getting a coach if you've never tried running before, because they can help ease that process along and give you pieces of advice specifically tailored to you as a runner, so that way you're able to go out with confidence on your first 5K and know that your training that you put forth was adequate for the task at hand, say a 5K or even a 10K for some beginners. Alright, so thank you guys for listening to this video. If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and give us a like and comment down below, and be looking for future videos on how to start a running program and how to do it safely, so that way we're able to start enjoying exercise and get the benefits of running that we discussed in our previous video. Alright, you guys, you have a great day.